Hello, hockey fans! Welcome back on into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Back in business, the World Juniors have completed. The U.S. reigns victorious again, winning the gold medal at World Juniors. We will react to that. And then with the World Juniors tournament coming to a close, we'll be putting our focus back into the NHL, right, as some things are starting to get into the meat and potatoes of the season. We talked last week about how bad of a Winter Classic that was. Everybody in the hockey world apparently knew it. That was the lowest rated Winter Classic we've ever had either. What do we have to do to ensure that this does not happen again next season? We'll talk about that. And then Zach's notebook is full of all kinds of things, from the serious to the kind of fun and to the downright silly. All kinds of great stuff lined up on tap for you tonight. So let's get in formation, pass that puck through the zone, get it past the goalie, be sure that we wind up not in that penalty box. Let's go, everybody. Let's have some fun. This is the Neutral Zone. And once again, hello and good evening, everyone. I am Adam Karnick. Along with us is Zach Puplis, and Zach is apparently just trying to trigger me right out of the gate with his nameplate here on this. I'm just going to choose to say that that's because the U.S. team won back-to-back World Juniors championships, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's not Lions related at all.
No. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to have to look at that all night. For those of you who are listening later on in the week as a podcast, he's put up as his nameplate back-to-back Kings of the North. Yes. Such, I guess Zach's just going to take the show tonight, folks. I'll just be running the producer role here tonight.
Hey, Ben, it's been what, 60 years? You got to take these chances when you get them, you know?
Yeah, this is true. There is definitely something to be said for that. You've got to, you've got to enjoy it when you can. I get it. Just doesn't mean I have to like it.
Right.
Well, we've got lots on tap, lots in store for everybody tonight. Thank you for tuning on in. Of course, we're going to be breaking down NHL. We've got tons of games on tap and on action tonight. We'll be getting everybody caught up on the scores going on, but then we're going to be breaking down the U.S. winning the World Juniors Championship. Overtime over Finland. Canada had an early exit, didn't have to take on the Canadian team this go around in order to win the gold. So we will break that down and react to that. And then we had talked about the Winter Classic last week. Well, we've got even just more bad from that terrible Winter Classic game to break down and go over. And then Zach, we're just going to have to figure out a way to fix this thing. They're going to leave it up to us. So we must work together and figure out how to solve this thing. And then we know that Zach always comes to the show with a very full notebook full of news, notes, and tidbits. Well, we'll give him an opportunity to lighten that notebook a little bit here tonight. Lots to get to tonight on Tap in the Neutral Zone. So we will have a quick word from our sponsors, and then we will dive right in. Here we go. IE Sports Radio fans, This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
And welcome back on into the Neutral Zone, hockey fans. Be sure to check out all of our sponsors here at the network: Planet Jerky, Vital Apparel, and Seal the Deal Wax Seals. We thank them for helping make this show and every show at the station possible. Adam Karnick and Zach Puplis back with you here. And we're gonna kick things off the same way, the way we like to. Every show is with getting you caught up on all of the games and scores all throughout the NHL going on. But of course, first, we want to let you know this show is available on the social network platforms. On Twitter, you can follow along with this show at IESR Neutral Zone. You can then also follow along with me personally. I am at Adam_Karnick on Twitter, or you can follow me on Blue Sky at AdamK87. Zach, meanwhile, is at The Puplis on Twitter. And we want to thank everybody that is watching tonight live on YouTube and Twitter and on Instagram, and then everybody also that is tuning in later on in the week as a podcast. So we want to thank you guys for being here. And I see Zach, but Zach is letting me know he's having some technical difficulties. Trying to signal out, and Zach is apparently unable to hear me. Well, that's not good. That's not a good thing at all. Let's see if we can Let's see if we can fix that or get that squared up. If you are watching the show live tonight as well, you can drop us a message in the chat room. Just let us know. We've got Taryn Rodriguez is here as well. Good evening, Adam and Zach. Have an amazing show. Thank you, Taryn. We're going to do our best anyway to try and do that. So I'll get you as we're trying to get as we're working through some technical things here. I'll get you caught up on the show here. We always like to start off with the active scores going on in the NHL going on right now. As we are basically, we are pretty much at this point. Most teams are close to halfway or exactly halfway through the season. So we are definitely getting into the nitty-gritty part of the schedule and part of the season. We've got on the docket tonight 10 games on hand tonight. We've got down in Tampa Bay, the Lightning are currently doubling up the Hurricanes early in the third period there, 2-1. Nick Paul and Brandon Hagel, these scores going on right now, these scores for the Lightning. Meanwhile, in the third, the Bruins are just finishing up a power play. They need it as they're taking on the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers absolutely all over the hometown team, 3-0. Adam Henrique, Connor McDavid, Adam Henrique with 2 goals, and Connor McDavid converted a power play for the Oilers. They're up 3-0 with just under 11 minutes to go in regulation, as it appears that we have Zach back. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, sir.
Hey, there we go. There we go. Not sure what it was, but glad you're back.
Woo, me too.
In Detroit, meanwhile, right now, a good one going on between the Red Wings and the Senators, all knotted up at 2 with just under 14 minutes left in regulation. The power play has been the Red Wings' friend tonight. Both of their goals have come with the man advantage. Meanwhile, the Ottawa Senators have gotten both of theirs at even ice. So a good one brewing there in Detroit. Also got a good one out in New York. The Rangers and the Stars tied at 3 apiece with just under 11 minutes to go in regulation on that one. The Stars, 34 shots on net. The Rangers only 20, but they're all even up where it counts. The Rangers were up 3-0 in this game, but the Stars have come storming back. Matt Duchene, Evgeny Dadonov, and then Jason Robertson all with goals. And I believe it was 3-0 in the first. It was 3-2 by the time the first period ended.
Wow.
I want to talk about momentum. And
no kidding.
Finally, the goalies have started figuring things out here in the third period. I'm imagining that as I'm pulling up to double check, but I'm sure it has been Jake Ottinger all night for the Stars, even with the giving up 3 quick goals in the first period. The Stars stuck with him, and it's paid off so far. Meanwhile, for the Rangers, they've had Jonathan Quick in net, and it started off okay, but now he's surrendered the 3, and it's a tie game. 19 shots for the Stars in the first period there. The Rangers scored 3 goals on all of 8 shots in the first period. That's efficiency. Getting late in the third period down in Pittsburgh, the Penguins on top of the Blue Jackets, 3-2. Though the Blue Jackets are not going. The Penguins have had a 2-goal lead twice in this game, and the Blue Jackets refusing to go away. Dmitry Voronkov just got him one goal closer a couple minutes ago. End of 2 down in Philadelphia. The Flyers and the Maple Leafs tied at 2 apiece. Austin Matthews with a goal for the Maple Leafs. John Tavares also with a power play. Travis Konecny with both goals for the Flyers in that one. Up in Minnesota, the Blues doubling up the Wild 4-2. That's early in the second. In Winnipeg, the Predators, they just, what went wrong with the Predators? 3-0, the Jets on top of the Predators. We are not quite halfway through the game in that one. 11 minutes left in the second period, and the Jets all over the Predators. Let's see, Kyle Connor with a goal, John Morrissey, his 5th, and Morgan Barron opened things up. Actually, Barron gets credit for the goal, but the Predators put it into their own net to open the scoring, just to be the final kick in the pants there for the Predators. They're not getting out of their own way.
Salt in the wound for sure.
Yeah. And then later on, just as we'll be finishing up, the Ducks will be taking on the Flames tonight, coming up at right at the top of the hour. And then at 10:30, this one could get ugly. This one could get ugly fast. The San Jose Sharks are hosting Las Vegas later tonight.
Oh boy,
that one could be over very quickly.
Right.
That one could be over very, very quickly. So there's tonight's scores all around the NHL. 8 games going on right now. We'll have some finals for you before we wrap things up here tonight, and then a couple more that'll be starting. But then we've been talking a lot of amateur hockey the last couple weeks. One more round, shall we? The USA wins the gold medal again at World Juniors. Needed overtime against Finland, but got the job done. Gold medal champions for Team USA at the World Juniors again.
Take that, Finland.
Indeed. And of course, then I had the box score, and then I looked at something cross-eyed and lost the box score. So I'm going to try to get it back up here real fast.
Well, you do that. I got a couple quotes from the game.
Perfect.
Teddy Stiga scored on a breakaway at 8:04 of 3-on-3 overtime to give the United States a 4-3 victory over Finland on Sunday night in the World Juniors Hockey Championship game. The Boston College winger, a healthy scratch at the start of the tournament, collected a forward pass from Denver's Zeev Buim and beat goalie Petteri Rimpinen through the leg pads to end it. Quote, "You got to find a role," Stiga said, "trying to do what I could do best to help the team win. It wasn't always points and scoring. Being able to top it off with one there was pretty cool." End quote. Americans avenged a 4-3 overtime loss to Finland in group play, overcoming a 2-goal deficit in the second period to win their second straight title and 7th overall. Quote, "Dynasty, it's sick," said Ryan Leonard, the U.S. captain from Boston College, who was the tournament MVP. "There's no better feeling. We wanted to do something that's never been accomplished before. It's crazy." Pure joy for the guys. Coach David Carley of Denver said, "It's all worth it. I'm really proud. They'll walk together forever." Boston University teammates Brandon Svoboda and Cole Hudson scored late in the second period to tie it. Michigan State's Trey Augustine, my boy, made 21 saves. Augustine on the game. They played really well, but we stuck with it. We were down 3-1, which isn't ideal, but we capitalized in overtime. It's unbelievable. There's no better feeling. They took it to us in the first period, but the last 40 in an overtime, we handled the play. Finnish captain Aaron Kiviharju said, "We just kept growing up day by day. We were really close to getting the most shining medal, Not this time, but I'm really proud of everybody on the team. Oh, and next year's tournament, you and your wife will be happy, is in Minnesota and St. Paul.
Indeed. There you go. XL Energy Center. They'll be hosting everything there. That'll be excellent for the US program, and US hockey. We'll be seeing, make it easy, as easy as possible to follow. But yeah, this was, Finland came out and made a statement early on. 7 minutes into the game, you have Jesse Kinkinson scoring the opening goal. James Hagens did get the equalizer about 5 minutes later, but Finland led 2-1 at the end of the first, and not very late in, not very long into the second period, it was 3-1. It's 25 minutes into the game and it's 3-1 Finland. It's a good job by Team USA to keep their composure, not get rattled. They'd only given up in elimination play. They'd only given up 3 goals total in their last 2 games. So to give up 3 goals in just barely over a period, that can rattle you. But a good job by the team to stay focused, stay composed, stay with it, force overtime, and then in overtime you get the winner.
Yep. Put the rally caps on and just start chipping away.
And absolutely, that's what they did. They hung with it. Nice play in net too for the final, basically 40 minutes of the game, including overtime. Nice job in net by your boy there to also not get rattled. And all right, I gave up 3, but we can overcome this. We can say, just stop the next one. Just stop one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly the next thing you know, you're stacking stops. You're keeping your team in it.
Yep.
So a good job overall by Team USA getting the gold medal there. Over in the bronze medal game, it was Czechia taking on Sweden in the bronze medal game. That game went all the way to a shootout. Czechia ultimately got the win 3-2 in that one. As I'm having to scroll through a lot of stuff that had happened. Czechia opened the scoring very early on, 4 minutes into the game. Jacob Stankel got the first goal, but then an equalizer towards the end of the period by David Edstrom to make it 1-1. It was tied at 1 at the end of the first period. About halfway through the game, Czechia went up again. Edward Sale with a goal, then David Edstrom again got Sweden on the board a few minutes later. 2-2 at the end of 2. 2-2 at the end of regulation. It winds up going into a shootout, and it was a long shootout. As I'm tallying up, let's see, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 round shootout before
goodness.
Czechia finally got it.
Wow.
Edward Sale finally got the winning goal in the bronze medal winning goal in the 14th round of the shootout. And going through the shootout too, both teams scored in the second round, and then we didn't have a goal again. I'm going to have to count again. The 13th round was the next time we had anybody score. So the goalies were, now there were some missed shots in there. Not every single one was a save, but the goalies were absolutely playing some tremendous hockey in there. So a 14-round shootout. Czechia ultimately wins the bronze medal 3-2 over Sweden in that one. Of course, Czechia got there because, they beat Canada in the quarterfinals. So Canada didn't even make it out of the quarterfinals this go around. Yeah, that means next year Team Canada is going to be playing angry.
Oh, yeah.
Team Canada is going to be playing angry next year in this.
I didn't know Canadians could get angry.
When it comes to hockey. There was definitely some frustration happening in the group play stage. I saw some fans removing sweaters and throwing them on the ice.
Oh, geez.
In group play. So there was some anger and frustration happening with the Canadian fans on their team's play there. But gold medal for the U.S. Job well done by the World Juniors. Now everybody can go back to their respective colleges or universities, or back to the OHL for some of the different Canadian players, or their respective leagues back overseas. But a job well done. Good tournament. Job well done by the boys, bringing home the gold medal.
Woo-woo.
All right. And with that, did you have something to add there?
Well, I think that's actually a really good, quick segue. I'll do a little quick college update for you.
Perfect. Actually, yes. Let's dive into let's talk some college hockey, shall we?
So with Trey Augustine going back to Michigan State to continue their season, not much has changed since he left. They're still sitting at number one. And they've got, let's see here. So last week we talked about them winning the Great Lakes Invitational with wins over Northern Michigan and number 4 Western Michigan. So then last Thursday when we talked, they were playing Wisconsin, beat them 4-3, and then they played at the Frozen Confines at Wrigley on Saturday night. It was a 9 p.m. start.
That's a late start. And I'll
bet it was brisk.
Yeah, that too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Well, they wound up winning that one 4-3 as well in overtime. Let's look at the box score here. Um, 1-0 at the end of 1, 2-1 Wisconsin at the end of 2, and then 3-3 at the end of 3, and then State won it in the first overtime. State got goals from Russell, Daniel, Lukasevich, Vladislav, Howard, and Isaac. Wisconsin got them from Morrissey, Gavin, Mosley, Ryland, Finley, and Quinn. So, yeah, seems like they're doing really well. Elsewhere in that same tournament, there was a couple different games that had gone on. Oh, and actually, you've got upcoming next, we've got games Friday and Saturday at Penn State, followed by a game at Michigan on the 17th, and back home versus Michigan on the 18th.
So some good ones coming up for Sparty. Yeah. How well have you got the rest of the Frozen Confines results there handy?
Yes. I was just going to real quick, just to finish out January. They got Minnesota that's at home the 24th and 25th, and at Ohio State on the 30th and 31st. So they had played some Big Ten games prior to now, but I think they're really getting to the meat of the schedule at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, the Frozen Confines. Okay, so all right. All 4 games went down to the wire, with 2 decided in the final minute and 2 that resulted in ties and extended shootouts. Look at some of the numbers. Oh my gosh, game temperature during opening face-off, 24 degrees.
Brisk.
Yeah. Total attendance for the event was 50,497. Let me go back to a different one to get the actual scores.
On the one hand, that attendance number that I want to say that's decent, but on the other hand, that means that they basically filled Wrigley one time.
Yeah, true.
So on the one hand, I would say, "Oh, that's great." On the other hand, really, that's all? Because this was a multi-day event.
Yeah. 2 days of doubleheaders. Wrigley Field hosted 3 Big Ten men's hockey games and 1 WCHA women's game. Recap of the action. Ohio State 4, Michigan 3. Let's see here. Penn State 3, Notre Dame 3, Penn State 3. But then it says 2 and 1 next to it. After scoreless,
probably shootout.
There we go. Yep. After scoreless overtime, Notre Dame won the shootout in 8 rounds. 8 rounds. Wow. It's up there with your 14 one we talked about. By a score of 2-1. Ryan Helliwell scored the winning shootout goal. That's almost foreshadowing for later this week in football.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, Penn State. Ohio State on the women's side.
Hopefully we'll see some more scoring in the football game.
Right. Yeah, no kidding. Ohio State and Wisconsin in the women's side. Ohio State 3, Wisconsin 3, and it looks like they won the shootout. Yeah, scoreless overtime. Jenna Buglioni netted the only goal in the shootout to lift the Buckeyes to victory. And lastly, our game. Michigan State 4, Wisconsin 3 in overtime. Let's see here. Michigan State's Isaac Howard and Wisconsin's Ryland Mosley both scored in the third, but neither team could find the winning goal. But in overtime, let's see here. Daniel Russell found the back of the net, lifting the Spartans over the Badgers.
Anytime I hear Badgers, my mind instantly goes to Monty Python. I can't move past that.
Oh, not mushroom, badger.
No, I go to perhaps if we built this large wooden badger.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, totally off track.
Yeah. Oh, lastly, so we talked about Trey Augustine not being available since he was in the World Juniors.
Yeah, he was a bit preoccupied.
A little bit. His replacement, Luca De Pasco, he stopped 31 of 34 shots in the win. And not Scarface, but Wisconsin's Tommy Scarfone made 34 saves in the loss.
What's his first name?
Tommy, and then Scarfone.
Tommy, hey, Tommy!
Or maybe Scarfoni.
Scarfoni, Tommy Scarfoni. He's got to get into the NHL. He's got to.
Scarfoni.
We got to make this happen.
So,
because you know his nickname's going to be Scar Boy or something like that.
Right. Exactly.
All right, so some good stuff happening in the amateur ranks of hockey. Well, let's take ourselves a quick break. It wasn't actually amateur hockey, but it kind of looked like amateur hockey. We're of course talking about the Winter Classic from last week, and not only did it look like an amateur game, it was viewed kind of like an amateur game. The worst ratings that the Winter Classic has ever had. Clearly, this thing is broken. It needs to be fixed. We will discuss that next. In the meantime, if you've got any thoughts and ideas on how to fix the NHL's Winter Classic, drop them into the chat. If you're watching live here on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram, drop them into the chat. We will take suggestions. We are putting a suggestion box together for Gary Bettman to probably ignore, but we'll send it to him and tell him how to fix this thing. That is next here on the Neutral Zone. You're listening to Adam and Zach. We'll be right back after this.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For a down south education on Florida sports and athletics, it's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Karnik, Zach Puplis back with you. So we got all of our amateur hockey, well, I shouldn't say all, a lot of our amateur hockey talkie out during that first segment. Now we got to get ourselves back into the NHL. And that Winter Classic last week, we knew it was bad. We knew it was bad when we were watching it. We knew after the fact that, yeah, this isn't going to be good. This is going to be something that's going to need to be fixed. And then, you know, you had the story last week where that was the 16th out of 16 ranked World Classics or Winter Classics. And the only reason it wasn't lower was because there wasn't a numbered lower that you could pick for it. Then we get the TV ratings in. Less than 1 million people watched that game. It was 920,000 was viewership. That's the lowest the viewership has been since the first one, right?
Right.
Whereas the first one was 1.1 million. This was almost 100,000 fewer viewers. That's now we talked about how, how you brought up that it was on New Year's Eve instead of New Year's Day. They didn't want to compete with the college football playoff, so that may have thrown some people off. It was, the big thing is it was two terrible teams. Two teams that aren't going anywhere this year. Both teams have already fired their head coaches. Both teams are being run by interims, and the Blackhawks in particular are currently the worst team in the NHL. So there was a lot of why are we featuring these two clubs? But obviously you can't just sit back and say, well, it was what it was. We'll just try again next year. You've got to shake things up. If for those of you watching live tonight, feel free to throw your suggestions into the chat room or hit us up on Twitter. You can hit us up at IESR Neutral Zone or at Adam Karnick or at the Pupless on what your suggestions would be. Zach, I'll start with you though. What would be some things you would suggest to increase viewership and just increase excitement and interest in this game again?
Well, I would definitely say go back to your original time frame. I mean, time slot.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not. Again, I'm sort of new to the Winter Classic thing. I've only been watching the last couple of years, but okay, in my mind, okay, hey, it's January 1st. Okay, what's January 1st known for? Okay, bowl games, and Winter Classic. Like, so I was expecting to be able to, in between the football games, to be able to watch some hockey. And then I had to I literally went online and I was like, wait, hang on, did this already happen? I literally had to go back and look for it, and I finally found it. Oh yeah, it happened the night before. Oh well, shucks. So
yeah,
definitely stick with what your usual time slot would have been. Even if you were up against the playoff, you probably still would have done better ratings than you did in the current time frame.
Yeah, it's one thing from a pro sports perspective. Thanksgiving, obviously, that's the NFL.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, that's the NBA, though the NFL is trying to hoard in on that and be a bully there.
Yeah.
But New Year's Day has been the NHL. This isn't the first time they haven't had it on New Year's Day. They've had it on January 2nd before as well. But it's have it on New Year's Day. Just the hell with it, college football. If you're going to be worried about what other sports are always doing, if you're going to be constantly looking over your shoulder or looking ahead, we don't want to compete with that. We don't want to compete with that. You're not going to find a day on the calendar where you're all alone by yourself,
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Like, I think they even with the decreased numbers because of people watching college football, I think you still would have had better numbers than what they did the day before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because like you said, there were some people, it's New Year's Day. Okay, that bowl game's done. Now let's go over and check wait a minute. Why am I watching Shawshank Redemption? Where's the hockey game?
Right. I mean, do love me a good Shawshank Redemption, but still.
Right, but let's face it, if you miss it, all you have to do is wait 6 hours. He's going to show it again.
You get busy living or you get busy playing hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
But, well, yeah, I mean, that's just it. Like, there would have been gaps, and I totally would have gone to watch it. And was it afternoon, or did they do it in the evening on the 31st?
It was evening. Yeah, it was
that's even worse.
The evening of New Year's Eve. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So as people are getting ready to go to their New Year's festivities, that's when they had it. Yeah, it was 4:00 Central Time, so 5:00 East, 2:00 in the out west was the puck drop.
Well, and it's basically the same mistake the college football playoff did that first year second year when they had some games on New Year's Eve. That's like, okay, it's 5:00, and either people getting ready to go to parties or, on the West Coast, people aren't even out of work yet necessarily if they had to work that day. Like,
right. Yeah. If I worked out in the West Coast, I worked till 3:00. If I was on the West Coast, I would have yet been in work when you're dropping the puck. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, okay, so we talked about there being two poor teams in the matchup, but how far in advance do they pick the teams? Because if you think about it, not too long ago, I mean, you guys won 3 cups, and the Blues even won a cup like 5 years ago. It's probably not planned that far in advance, but
No. It's when they're planning out the upcoming season,
okay.
they'll cherry pick the outdoor games first.
Okay.
But it's usually about 12 months in advance is when they'll peg those. I don't think they have now. Okay.
I already got you. Already one step ahead.
Perfect. There you go. You're one step ahead of me. Perfect.
Florida Panthers to host 2026 Winter Classic at Lone Depot Park in Miami. Florida is one of 3 NHL teams to never play an outdoor game. Will host the 17th Winter Classic. Do they say who they're playing against though?
Should have it.
This one doesn't. But that okay. Whoever they're playing is set aside. Don't even worry about that right now. But
yeah,
the whole point of the Winter Classic is to play outside in the elements. So you're gonna go play outside in Florida?
Well, this wouldn't be the first time they played an outdoor game in Southern California in March a couple of years. It wasn't the Winter Classic, obviously, but they had an outdoor game in SoCal with that the Kings were involved in, where I think it was above 60 for sure. So this isn't the first time that they'll have had to deal with that. Obviously it's unique. And Jen B hopping in the chat, and that's exactly her question. How are they going to keep ice outdoors in Florida? I mean, it's still January. I mean, to give you an idea, what's the current weather in Miami right now? I mean, in Miami, it's 56. So it's not like it's 80 degrees
True.
that they're having to contend with. You can do it. They can. Heck, they had the Winter Olympics in Russia. They had downhill skiing in 75 degrees in Russia, a few years ago. I remember that. You can do it. Obviously it's a strain on the rink, on the arena. The ice will be, it won't be pristine.
Okay.
It'll definitely, yeah. And Jen put it, but it's not 32. No, you can, you have to work harder at the rink to keep it, but it's also, it's thick. Once you get it there, it wants to stay ice too. Obviously your surface level will show the most, but it's not like somebody's going to all of a sudden start swimming in the middle of it. You're not going to have that, but it will suffer from that a bit. But having the Florida Panthers, to me, that does make sense. They just won the cup.
Yeah.
Sure. You want to have a good team that's relevant now. The problem with the attitude of, the Hawks won the cup recently. That was 10 years ago was the last time the Hawks won the cup.
Yeah, true.
That's a while ago now. That everybody's gone. Okay, Patrick Kane is still playing. DeBrincat is, you've got a couple of guys left from those teams that are still in the league. Jonathan Toews is actually trying to make a comeback, by the by. We'll have to talk about that later. Not tonight, but that's I have stashed that away for a later week. But Jonathan Toews is trying to make a comeback.
Wow.
Jen B liking the visual of somebody going to take a slap shot and all of a sudden poosh, down they go.
Whoopsie.
Down they go. But yeah, the Panthers just won the cup.
Yeah, capitalized on that momentum for sure.
Exactly. That makes, or a couple years ago, it was Vegas and Seattle. It was the two most recent teams in the league capitalize on that momentum.
That definitely made me want to watch it for sure.
Right, exactly.
Well, here, I got it. Here we go. Florida Panthers and Utah Yetis.
When they actually adopt that moniker, get rid of hockey club. Good grief. I'm still mad about that.
Me too. Guys, you were this close. Like, come on.
It's right there. It's right there. Just do it. Oh, it's the perfect name. It's right there. Anyway, now you're getting me all riled up again.
Give away a free Yeti every Thursday night. There you go.
Oh, I like that. There you go. There you go. Yeah, one lucky fan goes home with a Yeti every game. They show up. They show up and okay, here's the leash. You got to feed him. And wait a minute, what? Oh, you expected a cup? Oh no, we're giving you an actual Yeti.
Right.
That's a totally different promotion. Totally different promotion. That.
I would have settled for a cooler.
But yeah, that to me, that's the first thing you've got to do is you've got to pick relevant, exciting teams. And I know Chicago's a big market. Chicago is one of those teams that you put them on and it draws eyeballs. But come on, guys, you can't have your big holiday game and you feature the worst and you handpick. It's not tradition. It's not, well, it's not the Lions on Thanksgiving where it was for years. It was, God, can we get rid of these guys, please? This is terrible. Well, they've always been on Thanksgiving. You pick the teams every year. Don't hand pick the worst team in the league and say, here you go, folks, watch some hockey.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
that in the bad time slot equals poor ratings. There you go.
Exactly. That's your two biggest problems that you've got to. Yeah, exactly. Here's your problem, guys. You moved the day of the game into a horrible time slot, and you picked two miserable teams to feature.
So even if people did want to watch hockey that night, it's like, do I really want to watch these two teams?
I turned it on, watched a minute and a half into the game. It went to 1-0. And it was, oh boy, this could get, and then sure enough, it did. And my kids were mad at me. It was, Dad, why do you have this on? It was, you know what? Why do I have this on? Click.
The hockey equivalent of the Seahawks and Bears games from a couple weeks ago.
Right, exactly. Where I was sitting there going, why am I watching this? Why am I watching this?
Just beating your head against the door.
a couple of my buddies said it's because we're dedicated. I said, no, it's because we're brainwashed.
Right.
It's because we're brainwashed.
Oh gosh. Oh.
So yeah, it's that easy. It's that easy. Just don't schedule your two worst teams and don't put it on New Year's Eve night.
Yeah.
Keep it on New Year's Day. The New Year's Day, that is such a perfect, let's sit back and just, all I want to do is veg. Yep. That's all I want to do. My wife watches the parade in the morning. I find some sports in the afternoon. That's all I want. Get some sweatpants and a sweatshirt. And I have no intention. Yeah. I have no intention of being an adult today.
Right. Yeah. Oh man. Oh,
All right. Well, we're glad we solved that problem. Jen, that's like scheduled the Stag Bowl during week 18 of Sunday Night Football. Yeah, the Division III national title game going directly head to head against the NFL. Yeah, that's it. An interesting choice, but at the same time, the D3, you're going where you can when you can. Some of that's just you're not picking everything yourself there at that point.
D1 college football playoff struggled to compete against the NFL that day, let alone D3.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, I know that you always have a notebook full when you come to the show every week. Let's give you a chance. And we've only got a couple minutes left, so I know we're not going to empty the notebook tonight. But let's get a couple of things out. Let's start with something that's a little bit more somber. I know we've got some closure for the Gudreau story.
Sure. So the suspect in the deaths of Johnny and Matthew Gudreau pleads not guilty. Driver charged with killing NHL hockey player Johnny Gudreau and his brother Matthew as they cycled on a rural New Jersey road pleaded not guilty to the indictment Tuesday after turning down a prosecution offer of 35 years in prison. Sean M. Higgins, 44, appeared briefly in court in Salem County, New Jersey, and entered a formal plea to the court to the recent indictment in the August 29th deaths. Case will now move forward to trial. Defense lawyers in a statement, ready for this? Said they hope to prove that the death stemmed not from any malfeasance, but from a, quote, combination of uniquely unfortunate circumstances unlikely to ever occur again. Really now?
Good luck to you, sir or madam.
Yeah. They described Higgins as a combat veteran who has faith in the legal system. Prosecutors say the married father of two who worked for an addiction treatment company had a history of road rage and was impaired that day after drinking 5 or 6 beers. He said he'd been driving around for 2 hours, sometimes talking by phone with a friend after an upsetting conversation with his mother. Gudreau, 31, and Matthew, 29, were killed near their childhood home in South Jersey on the eve of their sister's wedding. Can you imagine the sister? Just my gosh.
Oh yeah. That was all that stuff. So
just before such a big day.
When did they say the trial is going to be happening? When did they say the case is moving forward to? What's our next date then?
Let's see here. I don't think they have a date yet. His alcohol level was 0.087, above the state's 0.08 legal limit. He failed his field sobriety test. Let's see. Defense lawyer called him a loving father, a good person who made a horrible decision that night. Yeah. Both the county prosecutors confirmed the terms of the proposed deal. But yeah, no actual timeline yet. They just said it'll move toward trial.
It'll move forward. All right. So they may not have said it yet. And Jen commenting in the chat, I guess he prefers life in prison to 35 years in prison. It's very, very likely that's certainly what he's going to be facing. That's certainly what he's going to be facing there.
I mean, people can get life for killing one person. I mean, he killed 2. You should get 2 lifetimes.
Yeah, he's very likely. All right, so we have that to look forward to then in a few months.
Yeah, and he says, uniquely unfortunate circumstances unlikely to ever occur again. But how often does drunk driving and road rage and all this stuff occur every single day throughout the entire country?
Unfortunately, vehicular manslaughter, unfortunately, is not unique.
Like, no, he screwed up, and yeah, he's gonna. It's a mistake he's gonna have to live with his whole life.
Right, whether behind bars or in front of them, but yeah, he's gonna have to live with that. But oh boy, so we'll keep up there, and then I know you have kind of a lighthearted one. Let's close out. Let's close out with that. Tell us about the Hershey Bears.
Well, so the Hershey Bears in a win recently had the fans, instead of throwing octopi or catfish or plastic rats or whatever,
And
they,
the Hershey, and one step back, the Hershey Bears are
the AHL affiliates of Pittsburgh, maybe? I'm not entirely sure which one they
okay.
are. But,
All right.
but
I will
they're
confirm
definitely
that for you.
AHL.
All right.
But they wound up throwing teddy bears onto the ice after a win. It's better seen than told. I'll give you the link. We can put it on the Twitter.
It is it's a fantastic promotion. And then yes, you get to see all the hockey players jumping into piles of teddy bears. It is awesome. Yes, it is an awesomely cool thing that they do. So it collected a world record. Do you have the number in front of you?
I do not.
A world record, 102,343 stuffed animals were collected during Sweet Cuddly Mayhem in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
I love it. Sweet Cuddly Mayhem.
Yes, Sweet Cuddly Mayhem.
What an oxymoron.
Yes. Oh, you love it. You absolutely love it. You absolutely love it. Yes.
My last little side note, Evgeny Malkin has missed a game for the first time since the 21-22 season, streak of 209 games, which is the 12th longest in team history.
So, and the Hershey Bears, they are the AHL affiliate of the Washington Capitals.
There we go. Okay.
So
nice.
we'll close the loop out on that for you.
Perfect.
Well, that is going to do it for our show here tonight. Big shout out and thank you, of course, to all of our sponsors. Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Place your orders by going to planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Also, Steal the Deal Wax Seals. You can place your orders by going to iesportsradio.com/Steal the Deal Wax Seals. Follow them on Instagram at Steal the Deal _Wax Seals. Also, thank you to Vital Apparel for all your fitness needs, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health. Go to vitalapparel.com to place your order. Enter code IESR at checkout to get 15% off of your order there. Thank you to Larry B., the hard-working czar and overlord of all things IE Sports Radio, for everything you do for this show. Behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, we are very appreciative for it. Thank you also to Jen B. and Karen Rodriguez for hanging out with us in the chat room tonight. The Blue Jackets, they came back to beat the Penguins in a shootout tonight. Congratulations to the Blue Jackets on that victory there. Finally, thank you to everybody that listened to the show. Whether you were one of the 243 people watching the show live across YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram, or if you were listening on later on in the week on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, wherever it is you get your podcast. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this show part of your sports week. We really appreciate it. Whether you are a diehard hockey aficionado or you are hockey curious and you're trying to get the show into it, we hope we brought you something and that you come back next time. Got a friend that's a hockey fan? Let them know. We do this show every week right here, right at this time, every week. For IE Sports Radio and the Neutral Zone, he is Zach Pupless, I am Adam Carnett. We do this every week, Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern. We will see you next week. Until then, be good. Stay out of the corner of that rifle lamp. You're going to flip the 5-hole.